Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is so good to be here this morning to welcome all of us into our spiritual community, into our home. As I was traveling the past 2 Sundays through various aspects of my life and my experience, I stayed in touch with various people, and I stayed in touch with the lessons as they were presented. And it's nice to, it's not nice, it's wonderful, empowering to know that this community is strong unto itself. Because that is the intention for me, is to have a vital, alive, and thriving spiritual community. One that lives the principle, and one that moves out into the community empowered, enriched. And being able then to share who you are. Because the old saying, who you are, is so deafening, I can't hear what you're saying. It precedes us through all of our stories, if we let it. So today, as I begin, I start with something light, something funny. I'm not sure how it ties in, but it may. So it's a little joke. One Sunday morning, after the 4th of July service, the minister noticed a 10-year-old boy in the foyer of the church. The boy was staring at a plaque on the wall. As the minister approached the boy, he asked him, "How are you doing today, young man?" The boy replied, "I'm doing fine, Pastor." "But who are those people listed on this plaque?" "Oh," the minister said, "those are the people of our church who died in the service." The boy's eyes widened, and he asked, "Was that the 9:30 or the 11 o'clock service?" You tell me how it applies later. Because it's 4th of July month. Well, again, good morning, beloveds. Our theme for July has been celebrating freedom. Let's celebrate freedom. And there have been 3 prior lessons this month that have led up to now. The first was the permission factor by yours truly. The second, faith sets us free. Dr. Carolyn delivered that lesson. And then on the 20th, the 3rd week, freedom, my divine inheritance by practitioner Andy Tureen. Well, what I know is that each has been a demonstration of the perfect order of spirit, of love, of pointing the way to today, to right now. It is this divine moment. Because what else could it be? What else could this moment be but our divine moment? To be alive, to know we're here, to be grateful. Each weekly lesson offers and has offered opportunities to better comprehend a greater truth around our ideas and our beliefs of freedom. And has brought us to this morning. So today, my lesson is entitled, Armed in Faith. Armed in faith. So what does it mean to be armed? Is it military strength? Is it big muscles? In the physical world, those two seem to be pretty important, don't they? Pushing and pulling and jostling and moving and trying to get into position to get the upper hand, all right? We see it. Turn on the news. Go out and talk to people. "Hi, how are you?" "Oh, well, did you hear about the..." So it's something out in the world. It's the kind of life that is distracting. It's one of denial. To be armed as a result of the physical effect can cause us to become defensive and thus immovable. Caution. To be armed as a result of the physical effect may result as bruising. Speaking of bruising, you ever seen a professional boxing match? Do you know what they are? Yeah? You've heard of them? They got the big gloves, the mouth guard, doing the fancy footwork. Saw a little cage boxing last night. I went, It doesn't appeal to me, but now it's a big sport. It's a big sport, but it's a great metaphor. And the boxing match takes place where? It's called the ring. But it's not round, it's square. Why isn't it called a box? I don't know. So the boxing ring is square. And the object is for the two guys hitting each other, trying to knock their opponent senseless. And what's around the ring? People cheering him on. Cheering him, get him, come on, knock him out. Yay! So, what I know about that is no matter, like in our lives, no matter what's happening, people support us in that, don't they? People support us. People support us. How many times have we knocked ourselves around? Beat up our decisions. Played the card of woe is me. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. And that's all because of some worn out, handed down concept of who we think we are. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, stated, "The person who believes that God is specialized for him or her is right. Is right. The person who believes that God is specialized for him or her is correct." So beginning today, let us start to move out of the thoughts that bruise us and live into something more supportive. And that's where I got my title, Armed in Faith. Let's arm ourselves in something more faith-based. Beginning now, let's open to more of the truth of who we are, and most importantly, why we are. When someone asks you, who are you? What do you tell them? Tell them what you do, who your family is, where you live. I do sometimes. It's automatic. It's how we're taught. But what's behind the who? This is not Dr. Seuss. It's Dr. Holmes. But what's behind the who? Well, the first line of the quote for this month is in your program. It tells us, you are what your deep driving desire is. You are what your deep driving desire is. Not what you hope to be, but what it is. So the first step to finding out what our deepest driving desire really is to turn away from the bruising, the exterior, and focus on you. Focus on the inner eye of who we are. Our founder, Dr. Holmes, tells us again, there must come a time in our experience when we speak the conviction that is within us. There must come a time in our experience when we speak the conviction that is within us. My time came last week. I attended the Minister's Ongoing Education Conference in Seattle. And I had a divine moment of clarity and conviction. And what it did for me, it uprooted me. The authentic me. From what was to what is right now. Did I give up easily? Hell no, I did not. it was hell. But that's where I was. So to uproot the hell became more hellish. It's an emotional attachment. My boxing gloves were tied on so tightly, and I was fighting for my life. So what was the clarity that was revealed? I was not fighting for my life. I was clinging onto the life I had. And that life was magnificent. It was pretty nice. And I recall it with fondness. But it was the life that I had. But deep down, I was afraid. We've all been afraid, right? I was afraid. Inside, I felt so alone. Even though all around me, you, my beloveds, are here, have been, with love and caring and, oh my God, the nourishment. The nourishment was so good. But here's the truth spoken to me that uprooted. It came from one of my classmates. There were 26 of us. And she said, Michael, wherever you went and whatever you did, you were known as one of two. Louis and Michael, Michael and Louis. Now, you are known as one. Michael. Individual Michael. And this is right where you are supposed to be. That's when the clubs went on. And how you are now to be known. How are you to be known was the question. And the advice was, it's time to stand in your true identity. So here I stand. Here I stand. Thank you. I stand here with a greater understanding of the way Spirit operates. An understanding that evolves in us, beginning with the clarity of whatever our life purpose is. Do you have a purpose? I thought I did. I made something up. It was convoluted. It was airy-fairy. It was the who of what I do, not the who of what I am. So this is my statement of purpose that I want to share with you. First time on live TV. This is my spiritual why. I am here to serve humanity as a joy-filled voice of love and compassion, to embrace the spontaneous nature of Spirit, thereby celebrating the abundant life. I am here to serve humanity as a joy-filled voice of love and compassion, to embrace the spontaneous nature of Spirit, thereby celebrating the abundant life. Here I stand in my true identity. First time in my life. Nothing wrong with what's come before. I honor it. It's all led to here. It's to let all of us to hear. It's from this deep understanding that I began anew. That we began anew. It arrived from trusting myself enough to break out of my what was. Because I know the why of why I'm here. I have declared my faith, which is my word, toward the life I now deserve. Trusting it is handled by the how, which is the way it works. In the science of mind, it talks about the way it works, the way spirit works. And it says we are thinking, willing, knowing, conscious centers of life. We are surrounded by, immersed in, and there is flowing through us a creative something. The sum total of all of our thought, will, purpose, and belief creates a tendency in this law, sets up a pattern in our life. This is the how. And Spirit always creates for us according to our faith in it. So there's the why, the how, and the what. Creative process. We find out our why, our purpose, and we know what we want out to experience. Maybe not even the thing, but I'll use freedom this month because it's our theme. So you declare freedom from your purpose, from your why, and you let the how it all comes together work itself out. Now, it doesn't mean we can't get up and move. We should take action. But along the way, we might get beat up. We get to reconfigure. And the what, the experience in our life, the demonstration, is ever evolving. And you and I, as spiritual community, we're ever changing. You're my family of choice. I've always said that. That hasn't changed. And you're invited to join me in the evolution of this community, celebrating this abundant life in which we operate. How do we get there? Don't know how. Don't know exactly how. Because if I try to decide exactly how, that limits what's possible. Clear on the why, directed to the what, to the demonstration. And along the way is the how. Is the how. How it's going to operate through. What I do know is I have faith in what I call our GPS. God's perfect sequence. There's God's perfect sequence and order. Well, I thought this was the perfect sequence and order 5 years ago. No. But I'm a little more clear that it is. Not fully, because the what keeps changing out there. The what keeps morphing, evolving. But now that I know why, I'm not as concerned with the how. I just allow Spirit to bring into the experience of the evolution, the demonstration. God's perfect order and compass and condition. GPS. So my identity, your identity, has always been right where it is. Mine's always been here. And so is yours. Who you are is always here. The recommended read for the month is Deepak Chopra's 7 Laws of Success. And I share with you from the chapter, The Law of Dharma. The Law of Dharma says that every human being has a unique talent. You have a talent that is unique in its expression. So unique that there is no one else alive on this planet that has your talent or that expression of that talent. We are surrounded by a ring of the human experience. But in the mind of God, the one mind as your mind, my mind, the potential for greatness and goodness resides. So for a moment, let's imagine. You ready? Creative beings. Let's imagine. We are in our corners of the boxing ring. We stand with our gloves on. The gloves symbolize our consciousness, our mental house, our container. And these gloves are filled with every experience we've ever had. All the excuses, all the reasons, all the motivations, the abuses, the enlightenments, the loves, all of it. In other words, it's our ego in one bundle here. Well, the bell sounds. That's our signal to take action. So we step into the ring of life. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do with what we have? Do we come out fighting? Or do we choose to unlace and remove those gloves? Do we snort and posture and flex our physical muscle? Or do we instead choose to take the high road, the inner path, utilizing our mental muscle, which is always armed in faith, knowing the why, recalling the why of who we are? I would like to believe all those second choices for each one of us, to move into a open, loving, armed with mental muscle, not the physical, combative nature that we see so often around us. So I offer this in closing. The aim of life is to live, and to live means to be aware, joyously, drunkenly, serenely, divinely aware. Love that. The aim of life is to live, and to live means to be aware, joyously, drunkenly, serenely, divinely aware. So remember, beloveds, the beliefs we hold as specialized are the ones that empower us. May those beliefs be specialized with love. It can be done. And so it is.